Today on Rappler. Senate President Chiz Escudero admits to being friends with the head of one of the top 15 flood control project contractors. Bacolod Bishop Patricio Buzon slams the Supreme Court and the Senate on the impeachment case of Vice President Sara Duterte. Reporters Without Borders condemns the killings of Al Jazeera journalists by the Israeli military. Jensen player Micole Sorella gets a lifetime ban after punching Mindoro's Jonas Tibayan. And pop superstar Taylor Swift announces her new album. Senate President Chiz Escudero admits he is still friends with the president of one of the country's top 15 contractors for flood control projects under the Marcos administration in a press conference on Tuesday, August 12. However, he clarifies he had no hand in any of the deals of the firm. This after a Rappler report revealed that Centerways Construction and Development Incorporated President Lawrence R. Lubiano was Escudero's biggest campaign donor in the 2022 elections. Centerways Construction ranked 7th among the top 15 flood control project contractors.
Kinikilala ko, kaibigan ko, kababayan ko, tiga Sorsogon, contractor siya. Pero ang nakuha niya ay 5.4 billion di umano. Wala pang 1% ng kabuuang pondo na sinasabi ng Pangulo sa flood control.
He adds he is not a contractor nor is affiliated to any construction business.
Wala akong kinalaman sa pag-identify, paggawa ng program of work, pag-bid, pag-award, pagbahay, pagbayad, pag-inspeksyon ng anumang proyekto sa pamahalan, sa Sorsogon man o sa labas ng lalawigan ng Sorsogon.
He points out that the contractor bagged most of the projects even before he returned to the Senate in 2022. Escudero claims there are demolition jobs against him with how the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte turned out. Bacolod Bishop Patricio Buzon casts aside restraint and denounces the Supreme Court's controversial ruling and the Senate's move to archive the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte.
With what is happening in the Senate and the Supreme Court these days, one cannot help but feel frustrated with the present government and cynical about the future of our nation.
Speaking before nearly 2,000 Catholics during Mass at the Cathedral on Sunday, August 10, the bishop did not mince words as he expressed his disgust at how the two institutions handled the impeachment proceedings.
The highest court, meant to be the people's last resort for justice, is lost in non-committal legalese and fails to uphold the people's right to hold their elected leaders accountable. The upper house, once an august and independent body of statesmen and women, is now infested with members, entertainers, and populists coming from deeply entrenched dynasties who know nothing about the law.
On July 25, in a 13-0-2 vote, the SC declared the impeachment proceedings against Duterte unconstitutional, saying it was barred by the one-year rule under the Constitution and violated the right to due process. But despite his concerns, Buzon urges citizens in Bacolod not to give up and, quote, remain hopeful. Reporters Without Borders condemns the killing of journalists by the Israeli military, calling it a disgraceful tactic repeatedly used against journalists to cover up war crimes. RSF's Director General Thibaut Bruitang says, quote, this massacre and Israel's media blackout strategy, designed to conceal the crimes committed by its army for more than 21 months in the besieged and starving Palestinian enclave, must be stopped immediately. RSF also calls for an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council to stop the killings. This after a prominent Al Jazeera journalist, Anas al-Sharif, who Israel had previously threatened, was killed along with 4 colleagues in an Israeli airstrike on Sunday, August 10. The Israeli military says al-Sharif was a Hamas militant posing as a reporter and was involved in rocket attacks on Israel. Al Jazeera rejects the assertion. Prior to his death, al-Sharif also had rejected such claims by Israel. UN Special Rapporteur for Freedom of Expression Irene Khan said last month Israel's claim against al-Sharif were unsubstantiated. Al-Sharif was among 4 Al Jazeera journalists and an assistant who died in an airstrike on a tent near Al-Shifa Hospital in eastern Gaza. Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani says, quote, The deliberate targeting of journalists by Israel in the Gaza Strip reveals how these crimes are beyond imagination. The United Nations Human Rights Office condemns the killings, saying the Israeli military's actions represented a, quote, grave breach of international humanitarian law. Jensen player Micole Sorella ends his career in the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League after full-force sucker-punching Mindoro's Jonas Tibayan. Aside from the lifetime ban, the Pro League also imposes a 200,000 peso fine on Sorella. He swung and hit Tibayan squarely on the jaw during a routine box-out move during the third quarter of the game between Jensen and Mindoro last Monday night, August 11. Referees and officials immediately intervened and ejected Sorella from the Batangas City Sports Coliseum court as Tibayan lay on the floor a full 5 minutes. He was spewing blood from his mouth and unable to move due to what has since been diagnosed as a broken jaw and concussion. PBA legend and MPBL Commissioner Kenneth Duremdes says in a statement, "I've seen the worst in basketball, and this is one of them." The league has the full authority to impose sanctions on this deplorable behavior. This is not the first time Sorella was involved in on-court violence. The former San Beda player once got into a one-game suspension in NTAA Season 91 in 2015 after punching Perpetual Help's Kevin Oliveria. Pop superstar Taylor Swift announces her 12th album, titled The Life of a Showgirl, on Tuesday, August 12. The announcement of her new album came in an episode of New Heights, the podcast of football stars Travis and Jason Kelce. Travis is Taylor's boyfriend. The release date of the album is yet to be announced. As of posting time, Taylor's website redirects to her online store, which features a pre-order of her new album with blurred visuals and a glittery orange lock. The display picture on her social media pages have also been changed with the same visual. The Life of a Showgirl is coming out over a year after Taylor's record-breaking album, The Tortured Poets Department, which was released in April 2024. It's several months after her world record-setting Eras Tour ended. And that's today's wrap. I'm Kara Oliver. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. Follow us on Rappler's YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok.